back to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. If you're listening to this show in real time, it's December 23rd, 2022. And if you celebrate Christmas, I would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And I hope that this weekend you will be surrounded by the people you love, enjoying the holiday. Regardless of whether you celebrate Christmas or not, the end of the year is a time that we all sit and just sort of contemplate, right? And I'd like to make sure that when you do your contemplation and your reflection, that you do reflect on the accomplishments that you had this year, big or small. Sometimes just getting through the year is an accomplishment, and that's okay. Sometimes you had some pretty big goals and you met them. You need to celebrate. Whatever it is, take a moment and give yourself a high five, right? Now, and if you're running around trying to get all the things done, or you're traveling to see loved ones, I'm happy to let you know that you have this conversation with the wonderful Nicole Gibbons to keep you company. Nicole is an entrepreneur, interior designer, blogger, and on-air personality. She spent more than a decade in the fashion industry, serving as the global director of PR and events at a major women's retailer before starting her work in the interior design industry. She has appeared on the Emmy Award-winning Home Made Simple, as well as the Oprah Winfrey Network, for 3 seasons as a designer helping deserving families to reimagine their living spaces. Nicole is also the founder and CEO of Clare. Clare paint is premium zero VOC and Green Guard Gold certified. Nicole's mission is to make paint shopping easy and fun. And she has done this by also making a difference in the industry and in quality of life for people who are decorating and designing their home with paint, right? She joined me back in 2019 to talk about her incredible career and how it all got started. So I cannot wait to share this with you again. Hi, Nicole. Thank you so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I'm like having a little fangirl moment here. I've been following you on Instagram forever.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. I love what you do, Nicole. I absolutely, it's like, I feel like I know you. That's what it is. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so enamored with what you do and how you do it and all of your accomplishments. And when I reached out and asked you if you were interested in being on the show, you just saw me go, oh, great, thanks. But what you didn't see was me going, yay.
Aw. Well, I'm so excited to be chatting with you today.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You have such a terrific, honestly, a working background here, like a resume that honestly I could pick apart for probably 3 or 4 episodes. But I thought what we would do is, Nicole, you're an entrepreneur, you're an interior designer, you're a blogger, you're an on-air personality. You've got regular appearances on Rachael Ray. You've been on Good Morning America. You've had your own TV shows. One of the things that it occurs to me, this is all while having a flourishing career as an interior designer. So my question is, it's like a chicken or the egg sort of question, Nicole. When I see somebody that has all of that going on, my brain goes, did somebody just tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you're pretty fabulous. You want to come be fabulous over here? Or is it something that somebody like you, who I also see all the other cred as an entrepreneur, was it a design, a career by design? Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was definitely a career by design. My ultimate goal was to build a brand and to, build an interior design career that enabled me to share my aesthetic with the masses, whether that's through mass media or through products that people could buy to make their homes beautiful. And I felt like I never wanted to just be that person who's in someone's living room helping them pick out their furniture for the rest of my life. I really wanted to take my expertise and use it to help people on a wider scale, and same with my aesthetics. So I really made a concerted effort to put myself out there and in a way that would enable me to build the kind of brand that I envisioned. And so, like, I think at the time, probably I'm sure you've heard this before, but my goal was to be the next Martha Stewart, because
It's
I
a
felt like
lofty
there really
goal.
wasn't, I know, but I felt like there wasn't anyone speaking to a younger generation of people who are really passionate about their homes. I felt like the personalities that you see on TV were either older, appealing to a slightly older demographic, or maybe they were people who were mostly sort of career personalities, and not necessarily working interior designers, and more geared towards sort of budget conscious DIY type of stuff. And, I wanted to be really inspiring. And, I just saw white space and I thought I'd be the one to fill it. And I felt like I had a great background. Prior to launching my design firm, I worked in public relations. So I had all the right skills and really understood the building blocks of creating a brand. And so I applied, all that background and knowledge that I had on how to build a brand to myself, in order to build my own personal brand. So yeah, it definitely was a concerted effort.
I love it. You know what? It just reminded me there in a sentence. I don't know if have you ever met Erica Ward at any of the industry events?
Yeah, yeah, I know
Don't you love
Erica.
her? Right,
Yeah,
right.
she's so awesome. I love her.
I know. And Erica, I think she was like episode 6 or something like that, way back in the
Wow.
beginning. And she said how important it is to take your skills from one career and transfer them to your career as whatever the next career is. So in her
Yeah,
case, it was finance and big budget project management, and forecasting. And she took that skill into her design firm. And for you,
yeah,
you're sitting here talking to us about how you took your skill and career in PR and event planning and into this new thing for you that you wanted to do, the career that is going to take your design skills to the masses, as you said. So tell us about that. Or first of all, take us back. How many years ago was it this moment where you said, I'd sure love to be the next Martha Stewart, and I'd love to take my design skills to the masses. Let me plot this out. How many years ago was that, Nicole?
well, I'll take you back even before that, because I grew up with a decorator mom and I was always passionate about design. And then even since my college days, I was always obsessed with design media, so design television, design magazines, and just loved all things home and interiors. And so, while all my other college friends were, off partying, I was like mastering recipes and like, trying to figure out how to make my college apartments look, amazing. And so I think the passion for design was lifelong, but it really, the idea of turning that passion into a real career didn't really, kind of take shape until 2008. So that's the year when I started my design blog, the very beginning of 2008, so 11 years ago. And at that time, I also set up an LLC, so that I could, really started out so that I can get trade discounts for my own home. But then that quickly evolved into me actually helping out friends and friends of friends, and having like a side hustle while I was working my day job in PR, and then ultimately leaving that day job in PR to run my own design firm. And as I was running my own design firm, I was simultaneously pursuing a parallel path as a design expert, trying to find opportunities in television and media, and, becoming a resource for media outlets for tips, and to, really help position myself as an expert. I started, shortly after leaving my day job and launching my design firm full time. I booked a role in the DIY decorating show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. So I filmed that show for 3 seasons, taped in the summers, and in between, I was working on client projects, literally hustling, wearing many hats, and being like the super Jane of all trades, as it relates to design, and just kind of trying to figure out my path. And, my path was like ultimately to create a brand that people could buy into. And so, there were many steps in between, but they all ultimately led me to where I am today, which is as the founder and CEO of Clare. So I've evolved my career 3 times, from PR to interior design to startup founder. And I launched this company that's a really innovative in the startup in the home space that helps people have an easier, more inspiring time shopping for paint.
Okay, so there's a ton in there. Okay, so one of the things I want to just pull out of there is that you said that you were pursuing parallel paths as an interior designer and as an expert, and establishing yourself as an expert recognized in the industry as an expert. And that was why you turn around and you do the 3 seasons of working all summer doing the TV show while you're still being an interior designer. And what I want to point out about that is the intention, that you knew your why. So it wasn't like somebody said, hey, come do this TV show, and you're like, yeah, okay, that would be fun. You sought it out and you strategically did these things because, to your point, you were creating a parallel path, one that was your A, the day job on the PR, B, your day job as an interior designer, but C, this other path of creating this. So that's pretty smart and pretty intentional on your part. And if you were to have somebody come up to you, Nicole, and ask you, how do you do that? What does that mean? And I know that we don't have 3 years and a seminar to do, but are there particular things that you would suggest to somebody who does have aspirations of establishing themselves in the industry as a recognized expert?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing I'll preface is that, like, really mastering those parallel paths is really hard. You got to have a really high capacity to take on a lot and not burn out. You've got to be really comfortable with working 24/7, because it's almost impossible to handle it all seamlessly without, spending every waking moment of your time trying to pursue all of these different paths. But I would say, if I had to boil it down to a few key nuggets of like inspiration for people who might want to try and follow the same path, I would say, number one, if you want to position yourself as an expert, it's super important to start building relationships in the media. So that means getting to know the editors at all the publications that matter, so that they can call on you when they need tips and advice for their readers. Number two, if your goal is to pursue television, you really got to make sure that you're super comfortable in front of the camera and that you've learned the ins and outs of how that all works, because pursuing opportunities on TV don't just get handed, opportunities in television don't just get handed to you. You really got to go out and hustle for those. And there's just not a lot of opportunities. I mean, even if you look at it now, if your goal is to, say, be on HGTV or something like that, there's only a handful of new design shows being produced.
Right.
So if there's
70,000 designers and there's 5 shows a year.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And usually not even that many, in terms of new shows, that they tend to latch onto a personality and then, really just kind of focus on the same shows that become hits. And, so there's not a lot of opportunity to break through. So you've also got to be really comfortable with not making a lot of money, because television doesn't pay. And so you really have to be invested in what you're doing. And when I say it doesn't pay, not that you're working for free, but I think people are always surprised when they learn what sort of typical rates are for doing a cable television show, unless you are, household name A-lister. You could probably make more money running your design firm. So you really got to prioritize, how you spend your time and energy, and make sure that that's something that you really want to do, because trying to pursue TV is going to come at the expense of bandwidth to take on more client work and make more money.
And that's a great point, because if you're not clear on why you're pursuing TV, for example, for this example, I mean to say, is you're right. If you can make more money in your design firm, why are you pursuing TV? Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and make the assumption that you might not make the money in that TV show, but if this is the reason you're doing it, to become an expert personality, and that is your ultimate goal, then that TV show might not pay so much, but it opens the opportunity for something else that wouldn't have come your way because you didn't have the recognition. Correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right. Okay.
And to keep getting better and better and do more in television, you need a lot of practice, right? So you can't just, no one's going to hand you a primetime television, 8 p.m. slot on network, unless you're really good on camera. And so
Right.
to get really good on camera, you've got to do a lot of the smaller opportunities and, kind of work your way up.
And what would you say when you said that, build relationships in the media with the editors, and then you said to be super comfortable with the camera? Is it like anything else? So if you want to be an interior designer, you've got two paths. You're probably either going to go to school for it or you're going to work and intern in it. I know there's somebody out there that didn't do either and that's super successful, but we're just, the norms, the most of the people. Is it that too, where you are, maybe if that's your goal, are you on the side taking acting lessons or stand up, things like when you say get super comfortable on the camera, somebody with their goal out there, how do they do that without the opportunity? You have to go on your own and get it?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is really innate because I don't know if you just don't have it, you could probably take all of the courses in the world and still not have your personality shine on TV. So, you've got to be warm, you've got to be friendly, you've got to be able to understand camera placement and deliver talking points and, look happy and talk about whatever your talking points are while you're painting in a DIY segment or whatever. It's like you've got to really be able to be on, and it's almost an element of performance meets expertise. So, you just have to, you either have to have it, or you either have it or you don't. And, if you're naturally comfortable in front of the camera, then you can hone other skills. If you want to get better at improvisation, you can take an improv class so that you can, be wittier on the fly or, things like that. But you're not going to learn how to have a personality.
No. Right. But there's, but it's like having an innate sense for scale and proportion and color, but then going to learn the actual technical part of design. There's like you're saying, there's a personality level there that has to be outgoing and warm and comfortable, but then you've got, there is also a technique and things to learn for it. So, okay, I just, I love that when I asked you the question, that your answer was that you intended it, that you were creating a career by design, because so often people think that the peers in the industry that have this level of success on television and in print and in media and so forth, that it just happens by luck. And it doesn't. And to your point, that creating that dual path there, it's two jobs. You're working around the clock, and you're also having to, I would say, tell us about making critical decisions on what things to say yes to and what things to say no to, both in the interior design end of your business, but also on the emerging end of the other, where you're trying to create the personality brand, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so all of this, so you do this. So now we're going to fast forward. You have this success, and now you have recently come to this new endeavor of yours, Nicole. You've had, I think I read that you had a light bulb moment. So tell us a little bit about this new thing for you in 2000. Was it, I guess the light bulb moment happened in 2016, I read, but then it's come to fruition now in 2018.
Yeah. So in 2016, so I'll fast forward to kind of how I evolved my concept of the kind of brand I wanted to build. So I touched on how initially it was, I'm going to be the next Martha Stewart, but as I sort of moved through my career and really understood the landscape, Martha built her business on licensing. And so after exploring that, I just felt like that wasn't the right model for me. I really wanted to build something. And I was very inspired by this new wave of direct consumer brands in other industries, like glasses, a la Warby Parker, or mattresses, a la Casper. And I loved what they were doing in their respective categories, in taking a product that was really unsexy to shop for and making it a better experience. And then when you look at like, who are the founders of these companies? In a lot of cases it were, people who at the time were like kids fresh out of school with a great idea and business acumen and the ability to like build the right team around them and hustle up those venture dollars and like make a company happen. And that was super inspiring. And I felt like the home industry had a lot of opportunity for innovation across the board. I really wanted to do something different. I didn't want to do like another furniture line or another fill in the blank obvious product category for a designer to move into. I really wanted to disrupt an industry and do something that could really help people and solve a problem. And so the light bulb moment was that shopping for paint sucks. I was helping a friend pick paint colors as a designer. We always have like a tried and true roster of colors that we know and love and have tried and tested. And a friend of mine had just moved and was asking me for paint color recommendations. And I was recommending colors that I knew and loved. And I think we were like at brunch or something. And I was trying to show them colors from a brand. And I don't know why my first instinct was to go to that brand's website, but it was literally impossible to find an example of the color. And I ended up just typing the color name in Google and pulling up better images that probably came from like Elle Decor or whatever and saying, here's the color, like this is what it looks like. And then, after that, I started thinking about like, why do all these paint brands have such a terrible experience? How come no one makes the online experience easy? How come no one is selling paint online? Like this is the day where the age when you can get a mattress online, you can get glasses online, you can get literally anything you ever want, prescription drugs, like whatever you need, you can get it from your phone in the palm of your hand or by clicking your mouse on a computer. And I just saw a better way to shop for paint. And in my experience as a designer and a design expert, I saw how much people struggled with this choice. When I would do media interviews for magazines and other outlets, one of the number one questions they would always ask me was for paint color recommendations because they were constantly trying to whittle down the choices for their readers. A typical brand has about 3,000 colors on average. And so it makes it really hard to find the perfect one. And like the secret is that, interior designers who are experts are certainly not choosing from thousands of colors. They're not working on a project and the client, and they determine that white is the color that they want to use in this space. They're not going to the store and staring at a wall and trying to figure out which one is the best white. They already know. They've already curated their favorites. They already have a short list of go-to colors.
You're right about that.
And so I thought, number one, what if I took that designer-led expertise and color curation and brought that into the process to make it easier? Because everyone wishes they had, a design BFF or an interior designer to help them, but not everybody can afford that. So what if we created, that element of expertise that's sort of built into the process and, simplifying the color palette. So instead of offering you every color under the sun, focusing on only the very best and most beautiful colors for interiors, then what else can we do to simplify that customer journey? That going back and forth to a hardware store and, testing colors, the process of testing colors. Yeah, it's like
so brutal.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been there. You've got to buy the sample pods, buy little cheap paintbrushes.
That's it. Buy the poster board.
Yeah, paint the swatches on your wall. Or as a designer, you're like buying a board or you're telling your contractor go paint a piece of drywall. And, it's just such a process.
Yes.
And so we thought, how could we innovate around color sampling and make that easier? How do we make the color choice easier for the person who just has no clue, who isn't a designer, who's just an average person who wants to make their home beautiful and doesn't have a clue about how to pick a color? Like, what can we do to help those people? And I really just built the brand around solving all of these pain points. So we have a curated collection of 55 perfect colors. We make sampling easier with our perfect color swatches, which are these sort of genius peel and stick color swatches. They're 8x8 swatches that you just peel off.
It's not rocket science when you figure out what people need, right?
Yeah. And so the swatches are awesome because you don't have to paint, wait for it to dry and all that, hoopla. You just put it on, peel it off. You can reposition it so you can move it around the room to see what it looks like under different light sources. And if you're a designer, it makes it super easy to use for client presentations, or if you want to have your client sit with the color for a little bit and, just see the color in an instant without having to involve a third party to create a color sample board for you. It makes it super seamless. So we've innovated around sampling. And then for the person who doesn't have a clue where to start when it comes to picking a paint color, we created a tool called Clare Color Genius. And it's a digital interior design based color consultation that's based on the same types of questions an interior designer would assess if they were helping you pick a color. So we're not, I always joke that it's not like a BuzzFeed quiz that asks you your favorite ice cream flavor and then tries to interpret that into a paint color. It's real, tangible methodology behind the color recommendations. So we ask you things like, what direction is your primary light source? How much natural light does your space get? What's the color of the existing furnishings in your space? What mood do you want the room to have? And, we take all these inputs. It's eight questions. And, at the end of it, the customer gets recommended a perfect color just for them. And then in addition to paint, we sell all the tools that one would need to paint with, and we deliver everything you need to your door. So you literally can shop from the comfort of your couch, and you don't have to go back and forth to the hardware store. And we just make the process really, really easy. And then on top of that, our website, not only is it easy to navigate, we have tons of inspiration throughout the site. You go to any other paint company's website, and usually all you'll see is a digital swatch of the color, and that's it. No real easy way to see the color in context or envision what it could look like in a space. And we've got lots of photography for every color that really helps you understand what the color looks like. We've got really robust descriptions. You can think of them almost like a flavor profile, like right when you're reading about a wine or a coffee, right? We write our product descriptions in a way that really helps you understand what the color is going to feel like. Is it warm? Is it cool? What are the undertones? How does it make you feel? Is it airy? And we have these really fun descriptions, and then we just have fun throughout the whole process. Our color names are really, really fun. We've got colors named after Beyonce, and there's green in the palette called avocado toast, and our one of our best-selling pinks is called Rosé Season because everyone loves rosé in the summertime. So we just had a lot of fun with color naming. We infused a lot of personality into the brand, and we believe we've created a much more inspiring shopping experience.
It's great. What I love is that it's funny because when you mention how you can also buy all of the actual tools that you need to paint, because if you took the whole experience of the selecting of the color out of the going to the store experience, but I still had to go to the store anyway, it's sort of like defeats the purpose, right? So yeah, I love that you did that too. It certainly does not defeat the purpose of having to go back and forth and buy multiple colors and multiple things, but you are truly sticking to your company mission, which is making it easy to buy, not only select but buy paint and of course all the tools that go with it. So tell me about the trade program of Clare, because on one hand you have this color tool for clients, consumers I should say, to do it on their own. Of course it doesn't negate a designer using the tool, but tell us what are the features and why is there a trade program and what is in it for your colleagues that are listening to the show, Nicole?
Yeah, it was always a plan to launch a trade program. And interestingly enough, we launched on July 31st. And the first email we got on July 31st from a customer was from an interior designer who said, "Hey, just saw your article in Architectural Digest. Love your colors. Do you have a trade program?" So the demand was literally there from within hours of our launch.
Wow.
After that, our team still is pretty small, so we just didn't think that we were set up to really handle trade just yet. But every day, the requests from designers became greater and greater, and we said we need to hurry up and launch a trade program. And so, a couple months later, in September, we launched what's still kind of in a beta program, where designers can buy our products at a discount. There's special perks. There there's things that we give them for free that the general public can't get. Color tools and so forth. And we just make the process as easy as possible for trade. And similarly to our DIY customers, we've had trade customers email our head of trade and say, this was the easiest order experience I've ever had from a vendor. Like,
Whoa.
and, we just make the process really, really seamless for everybody. And, as a designer myself, I know that, we need to maximize efficiency. Your time is money, and who wants to require, take 2 days sending 10 emails back and forth just to place an order? No one has time for that in 2019. And so we just make it really, really easy. And, I think designers really appreciate our color curation. We're there to help them with guidance if they need it, if they have information about our colors or our technical product features. And so we're really excited to continue building out our trade program. And, I think too, the other thing that's super important to me is creating a platform where designers can showcase their work. As more and more publications start folding, and I feel like the digital landscape for design media is so fragmented. And, I'm sure you've seen this move towards like interior designers using Instagram as a platform to build their personal brands. Mm-hmm. There's not really a lot of platforms or outlets outside creating your own to showcase your work. And so we're super excited to really help, promote our trade partners. And as our company continues to grow, we hope that will benefit them and their businesses. And, we're really excited to continue building out our relationships with designers and other members of the design trade.
So that's coming. That's not established yet. But I mean, let's understand something. In real time, this is 6 months. Your business is alive for 6 months. So, yeah. But you're planning to have like designer features, you mean, or rooms that were painted using your colors and featuring the designers? Is that the sort of things that you're talking about as far as supporting and giving a platform for things for designers?
Yeah. Yeah,
nice.
We're putting a lot of energy into building out our social media channels. So we're working on a lot of editorialized features on our blog and our social channels where we can showcase their work, and then from time to time we work on PR opportunities where some of our trade partners can be inserted into, and so we think all of those things are really going to help add a lot of value to their businesses, aside from above and beyond the work that we do to just make their jobs and their projects run more smoothly.
I love it. So you have things on the website like the paint calculator where you can put in your dimensions of your room and figure out how many gallons you need and things like that. And then also you're very forward in making sure that they're non-toxic. And tell us just a little bit about your philosophy there.
Yeah, so all of our paints are zero VOC and Green Guard Gold certified. It was super important to me to make sure that every single product met the highest level and the highest standards for environmental responsibility and chemical emissions. Everybody nowadays is, super focused on the things that they bring into their homes, the things that they put in their bodies. And we just wanted to make sure that, our product had the least amount of impact on your home. Most people don't know this, but the indoor air in your home is more polluted than the air outdoors. And that's mostly because there's less ventilation, there's less fresh air circulating through the home, and everything in your home emits chemicals and emits sort of VOCs, from your cleaning products to, some of the things that you put on your body to, your mattress and your carpets and all sorts of things. And so we just wanted to make sure that our products had a minimal effect on emissions in your home, and, and just focused on better ingredient choices. So we really focus on transparency. We, put our ingredients on our label. No other paint brand really does that.
Wow. That's a big one.
Yeah. And, we really stand behind our product, and, meeting like there's Green Guard and then there's Green Guard Gold. Green Guard Gold is like the A-list of green certifications for paint. The paint goes through tons of additional testing to ensure that it's safe for use in sensitive areas like schools and hospitals. So if you're doing commercial work or, things like that, that's something that, a lot of commercial interior designers really care about. Our products all qualified for LEED points, we really just emphasize, how we want people to just feel as safe as possible using our products.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's so well. I love it's well, it's just like you, Nicole. It's you started with what your intention was and you built a roadmap to create it. And it seems as if you have done the exact same thing with Clare, that you have started with what your intention was and then you went about creating it, and you are taking every aspect of it into consideration as you go forward. It's really awesome. And the company is Clare, CLARE.com, and that's where you can find everything about this. I mean, you guys, you're going to wonder why this is happening, why I'm ending this interview now. So I just have to come clean. Nicole and I both have a hard stop, and we did not want to not do this because she is one busy lady. And you know what? I didn't want to miss the opportunity, but I have to respect her time. And thank you so much for being here, Nicole. And one day, maybe what we'll do is we'll do it again, and we'll get more into those dirty details on how you built that empire of yours and the grit and hard work that went into it. But at this point in time, you are really killing it with this, and it's I've only spent 45 minutes talking with you, and I'm not surprised. You're very, I don't know how often you listen to the show, Nicole, but you get a hashtag smart lady. It's just to say.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you, and I will come back on the show anytime. I really enjoyed this, and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Such a lovely person, right? And, a go-getter. You can feel it when you listen to her, right? And I'm so thankful for Nicole sharing her experience and her knowledge with us. She wanted to disrupt the industry, and I think we can all agree that she succeeded, right? All along, she was creating a parallel path and putting the effort into making it happen, and it paid off. And it might sound repetitive at this point, but it does show once again how important it is for us to know our why, right? Just like the last couple of Flashback Friday episodes, all of these incredibly successful people have something in common, knowing that they were meant to do something and why they were meant to do it, okay? They didn't always know how to get there, but when your mission is clear, you figure it out. You find a way, just like Nicole did. Now, she mentioned that in 2008, she started the design blog in order to build that foundation in the industry. And it took her time to do it. But we say it all the time, the time is going to pass one way or another. And along the way in doing it, she made sure that she gave her brand a personality and she built the relationships with the people she came in contact with. Right. And I also love how she used her creativity on some of those paint color names like Beyonce and Om Green. I mean, that's just so fun and awesome. Right. So here's the thing. Nicole went for something. She wanted it and she went for it. So did a lot of these previous guests in the last couple of weeks. So is there something on your mind that you are thinking, I want to do this? I want to make this change. I want to add this ladder of service, our Nancy G ladder of services, right? I want to do this type of work. Whatever it is. Noodle around on it. Put some ideas, pen to paper. And then take a step. Take a step. I know it's the holidays. You're going to take your rest. You're going to be with your family. You're going to do the things that you should do to recharge for 2023. But jot something down that you want to come back to when the new year starts. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. I hope you have an excellent holiday. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of Luann Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or Luann University, go to luannnigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to windowworksnj.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.